Cocaine Bear is directed by Elizabeth Banks and is one of the most interesting concepts of this year. Basically, the movie, to sum it up, if you didn't already know, is about a bear eating cocaine and going crazy and tearing a bunch of people up. Sort of somewhat based on a true story, except the bear apparently didn't do much damage. But this movie, of course, with the concept that it has, wanted to expand upon that and use it as some sort of slasher horror movie, which is fun. That idea is very fun, very interesting, and it allows for a lot of it allows for some really fun kills, some really interesting things. Maybe it could be like a throwback to 80s slasher horror movies with their stupid premises, and it could just be like this very fun, dumb, entertaining movie. Except it's not. This movie, it barely takes advantage of that. Practically, I think maybe about 80% of this movie, or maybe we'll be generous and say 70% of this movie, there's no bear. Like 70% of this movie is just characters walking around doing whatever. Where's the fun in that? Genuine question. Where is the fun in that? Where am I supposed to feel the entertainment as an audience member if all I'm watching are these characters who just I don't care about? And the thing is, if you're going to give us more human than bear, then you've got to give the humans actual character development. You have to actually give them something interesting. You have to make them interesting characters to work off. And you can't just throw them in there and just assume that the audience is going to be fine with it. No, because if this movie is not going to have a bear for most of it, maybe do what something like Shaun of the Dead did and actually give us like a plot that, I don't know, has characters that develop over the course of the runtime. Like, give us some really funny shit. Give us like good comedy. The thing is, a movie like Shaun of the Dead, it has so much style and so much like clever comedy and character building that you almost don't care about the zombies as much. Like, the zombies are great and they add fuel to the fire, but the thing is, there's more than that. There's characters that you grow to love and care about as the movie progresses, and when any of them die, or if any of them are caught in a situation, you feel bad for them, or you're also worried about them because you care about them. This movie has none of that. This movie is just people dawdling around for like an hour and a half, and that's it. Like, there's this one group, I'm gonna give the movie this in terms of positives. There's one group of people who are really entertaining to watch to an extent. Their camaraderie is pretty funny and pretty engaging, and the thing is, that does develop just a little bit, but it's not very clever or constructive. It's just kind of there. Like, they're not interesting characters. They're easily maybe the most entertaining part of the movie, which is like, why? If your movie is called Cocaine Bear, then shouldn't the most investing and interesting part of the movie, I don't know, be the bear? Because yeah, like, while those scenes were like interesting and fun with the bear and the carnage, it was very like these scenes were very like few and far between. Like they didn't happen all of the time. Like, it just felt like, oh, we'll just have it here. It's like almost like they forgot that the bear existed. So the thing is, if you've forgotten your bear existed, then what am I supposed to do? I don't want to be with these characters. Quite frankly, I find them very annoying and I find them very boring, and they don't really build off each other all that well. So the thing is, why should I care if they die? Because there's practically no reason why I should, right? If you're not going to write them in a way that I care about them. Once again, if you're going to give a movie like a proper story and you're going to focus more on the characters than the actual threat, then you have to focus on the characters to a point where you're actually building them. You're actually building their traits, you're building their development, and you're building the relationship that they have with other people in the movie. But the movie isn't very concerned with doing that. And if it is, it's quite lazy and formulaic. and I didn't really feel as if I was watching a very constructive movie in terms of that. I just felt like I wasn't watching characters. I was just watching a bunch of cardboard cutouts that may or may not be bear food later on. So what's the point of watching this movie then? To me, at least, there is no point. It didn't really change much. I just kind of watched it and I thought, oh, okay. What do you want me to do? If your movie isn't even that entertaining, then I'm afraid that you don't really have much of a movie. You just kind of have a series of events happening, and sometimes there's a bear, sometimes there's not. And the bear scenes, on that note, very fun, not too bad. I do think that the movie would have been cooler if it took a more practical approach instead of just CGI all the time. But the bear scenes were actually pretty thrilling. So where were they throughout this movie? Because like I was waiting for them, and instead I'm just stuck with these boring humans. So yeah, was this movie worth it? Was it worth the experience? Not really. There were some scenes that I suppose made it worth it. But overall, it was actually kind of boring. I really wish that I could recommend this one to diehard horror fans or slasher fans, but this movie isn't even a horror movie. This movie doesn't even do its job in that sense. So, overall, the best I could do for this movie is a 3 out of 10. As usual, tell me what you thought about the movie. I'd love to know.